Welcome back, everybody. As we said at the top of the show, an extraordinary dump of documents today from Twitter revealing that 3 Democratic members of Congress, Schiff, Feinstein, and Blumenthal, 2 senators and a House member, pressured Twitter to try to censor content around the House Intelligence Committee's unraveling of the Russia collusion case, falsely trying to portray it, I'm not making this up, as Russian bots trying to promote a false story when it was accurate information from the then House Intelligence Committee Chairman, Devin Nunes. Today, he's the CEO of the company that oversees Truth Social. And he joins us now to react to this extraordinary revelation. Congressman, we knew at the time Democrats were trying to discredit your investigation. They filed a fake ethics complaint against you, did all these things, but going to Twitter, telling them, hey, these are Russian bots promoting Devin Nunes, and having Twitter call them congressional trolls, kind of funny, isn't it?
It is, and it's great to be on with you 2 days in a row. This is now a record, John. Maybe there'll be more breaking news tomorrow. I'll be on with you and John and Amanda tomorrow night.
Repeat.
But the odd thing about this is that, we knew all of this, but I still think, although, President Trump and I have been very supportive of Elon Musk buying Twitter, and Matt Taibbi has done a hell of a job here. But, if you go back at that time frame when we were going back and forth with Facebook and Twitter, I'm talking about 2017 and, of course, 18, they never would come out and actually say that this was bogus information. Now, they knew it. They told us privately at the time. And, I tried to say it as often and as loud as I could back in 17 and 18. But clearly, that wasn't the narrative that was out there. And I think if you step back from all this was probably about the time that big tech was coming under full control of both the FBI, DOJ bad actors, and of course the Democratic National Party and their committees and their power structure. Because, it was Obama who first went after Zuckerberg, blamed Facebook in 2016. And it almost appears by reading these emails that Matt Taibbi has went through and provided some of them for the public, it actually looks like these were people who didn't really want to go forward with this, who wanted to kind of say something, but knew they couldn't. And of course, from here on out, it just got worse.
Yeah, it did.
Devin, you obviously were most intimately involved with the contents of what came out in this Twitter file dump, but I'm wondering if there was anything that came out that surprised you, and do you feel vindicated?
Well, look, I mean, I've never, had an issue. I always knew that, I had a duty to do on behalf of my constituents and my country, and that was to, tell the truth. And that's what we did. And, at that time, if you go back in those days, you always have to step back and think, well, it would have been easy for me just to turn the other way, not do anything. But the problem would be you'd have to live with yourself with that for the rest of my life. So, I wasn't interested in any of that. And I think who's lost here is the American people. And if you look at it for years and years now, you've had 60% of America, roughly, that have been under this spell of the United Alliance between the Democratic Party, the fake news media, and big tech. And now, ultimately, it looks like also most of our intelligence agencies. So that's who's lost here, is that we've had a major disinformation campaign that have, quite frankly, made many Americans delusional. And look, it was the reason why I was very clear. I wrote a book about this in 2020, July in 2020. And that's why I left Congress, ultimately, was because the internet needed to be opened back up again. The American people needed their voice back. And, it's sad, right? I mean, Twitter never had to do this stuff. Facebook shouldn't have done this stuff. Truth Social should never be a thing. But, it is. It is because of what happened during this time frame in American history.
It is remarkable. I want to ask about consequence, because at the end of the day, we know Adam Schiff has said things in the past that were false. Like, I've seen with my own eyes the evidence of Russia collusion. You just have to be willing to see it. There never was any. Even Robert Mueller agreed with that. There was a time when Senator Blumenthal gave us a false story about his Vietnam War service that he didn't engage in. The repeated pattern of members of Congress using the authority of their office to try to create a false portrait for political purposes seems to have gotten pretty far down the line. Should Congress, should Kevin McCarthy, should Senator McConnell consider a motion of censure for these 3 lawmakers for trying to smear you as carrying out a Russian bot disinformation campaign when it was nothing of the sort?
Look, I think Speaker McCarthy has already said that a couple of those bad actors are not going to be on the Intelligence Committee anymore. I think at this point you really need to look at this seriously. Should Schiff serve on any committee? In my estimation, he should not. I mean, what did Marjorie Taylor Greene, known as MTG from Georgia, new member, what did she ever do to lose all of her committees? Right. And look, we talked about this last night. This is not something that should have ever happened, but the Congress is in a very dark chapter of American history here, and real consequences have to take place to pay for not only what Pelosi and all of the Democrats did in the last Congress, but what Schiff and others did in the previous Congress. Now, let me just quickly address Denang Dick Blumenthal from the Senate. I don't know what the hell this guy was doing any of this. I don't remember this guy being around the Russia hoax at all. Not sure. It looks like he was just trying to insert himself into this, and he played like Joe McCarthy. I mean, he's not only Denang Dick, but he's now like Joe McCarthy Jr. The moron got involved in this. I feel bad for the people of Connecticut, but good job, Denang Dick. I just remembered your name again because I had totally forgot about you, but thanks for being a jerk at the time.
Devin, we've just got about a minute left. Within the Democrat bag of tricks, this one seems to be relatively successful with respect to labeling things that Democrats disagree with as misinformation. My concern is that in this new Congress, this 118th Congress with Republicans at the helm, when folks like Congressman Jim Jordan and Congressman Jim Comer are conducting investigations, they bring things to light. Democrats, again, are going to label this as misinformation, and the message doesn't get across to the American people. Is that a concern that you share?
Yeah, look, and that's why I left Congress, because we had to open the internet back up, and that's what we're doing here at True Social. And so, look, it's a slow slog, right? It's very, very slow. But as Just the News reported, we had a record week last week, and right now, knock on wood, we're actually going to beat last week this week if this continues. So, look, there's a long time to the next election. The American people have been kept in the dark, or at least close to 60% of them. So, maybe now over time, people will learn more. And I think, today's a big news day. It's not just these Twitter files that have come forward, but it's also what's happened. Last night we speculated, where were the other documents? Yeah. They were in Biden's garage, John. We missed that one.
Never in 1,000 years would I have guessed that. Congressman, always a great honor to have you on. Thanks for joining us and bringing us up to speed on this.